Here is Alessio Rastani on That Sunday Night Show, which is a UK show just aired last night, and it will be with my commentary because he was unfairly slaughtered in my opinion, and I think he has a lot of problems getting his point across, and I hope that my commentary can help. So here we go.
Alessio, so you caused a hell of a storm. Jenny might well slap you shortly, but just defend yourself first.
A lot of people have accused me of saying that what I meant was I'm dreaming for people to lose their jobs and become, and feeding for people's misery.
But that's what would happen in a recession. That must be part of your dream.
No, it is not part of my dream. Let me explain. There's absolutely no doubt in my mind that the way I said it and the way it was interpreted by the, as you know.
Well, you couldn't interpret it any other way, to be honest.
Well, yes, there is. Let me explain. You see, the way traders and investors see a recession is completely different, and it's probably something that the public, are not aware of, which is a recession creates an opportunity, not just for me, not just for traders in the city, for everybody. And I think everybody here should learn how to do that. I mentioned this, that the 30s depression created a huge opportunity for people, a small group of people who knew what to do. I don't know how many of you are thinking about buying your first property, maybe your first house. Maybe you're still looking to get on the property ladder. I don't know about you, but would you want to buy a house in the property peak of 2006 when property prices are going through the roof, or would you rather wait and buy it cheaper?
Yeah. But possibly you're a homeowner, absolutely mortgaged to the hills here.
No, hang on a second.
No, but there might be, most people here, I would suggest, are probably homeowners, are probably mortgaged to the hills, who are absolutely screwed.
I'm talking
if property prices.
Well, you see here that Rastani is already getting slaughtered, even though he's right. Why would you buy a property right when they're at their peak? Makes much more sense to get them when they're cheaper. And then Adrian Charles, the presenter, says, well, what about all those people who have mortgages? Well, we'll talk about this soon, but not everyone has a mortgage to start with. And for those people who do, a lot of people just can't figure out how to save, and they just end up using a mortgage as their savings vehicle, which is always unwise to have just one thing as your savings vehicle. But anyway, here we go.
4%. You're probably a small number of people who don't happen to have bought yet.
Listen, you're right. I'll give you.
A small group of people who don't happen to have bought yet. I don't think this guy understands there are tons of people in the UK and in other countries who haven't bought yet because properties at ridiculous prices. It's an asset bubble. It's been abused and used as an investment vehicle. Prices are way overvalued. Of course, people who own a house don't think so. They believe that they did right by buying it and that prices can only go up. But the whole point of houses is not so that you can watch the price go into the stratosphere. And there are tons of people, especially under the age of 35, who don't have a house. The average age of first-time buying is now 40 years old. But anyway, let's get back to it.
The point, there are people who, if that is their only home, if they have no other capital, they're going to be suffering. But look, what I'm saying is this. If you do have money saved up, if you do have the capital somewhere saved up, if you are ready to take action, then a recession is a fantastic time, because instead of buying a property at, let's say, £500,000, buy it at a discount, 40% discount or whatever, 50% at $250,000.
Where are they meant to get this money from?
Well, that's the thing. You have to be prepared.
Where are they meant to get this money from? You see, that woman, Jenny, I forget her name, she's one of these comedians in the UK. She smacks of pure entitlement culture. Where is people supposed to get the money from? And as Rastani says, if you're smart, you should have saved that money. You shouldn't be doing what most people in the UK and many other Western economies are doing, which is pissing their money away every week, drinking it away or spending it on frivolous things. And it's well known that in the West, unfortunately, most people, or you could call it the average person, the aggregate, when you add it all up, the average person is got a whole wad of consumer debt because they just spend it. It's all about me, and now. It's not. If you look in the Asian economies and in other economies, people don't do that. They save it instead. They don't just spend it and piss it all away. So, well, what she's saying there is a little stupid, really. And Rastani is saying, well, hopefully you do have some. Anyway, let's watch some more. Oh, he's talking rubbish now. Typical liberal left bullshit that she's coming out with. Let's keep watching.
Let's talk about the stuff.
Do you know how most of the people here want to make their money? They want to make their money by doing a decent day's work, getting decently rewarded for it, producing things, providing services, working perhaps in the public sector or in the private sector, they don't want to be in the quick buck culture.
Well,
this asshole is a Labour politician who was in the previous government that presided over the massive debt expansion, debt-fueled boom that eventually has led to all of this. This asshole here is totally guilty. He was in the cabinet, so he was high-ranking, although he wasn't the housing minister or anything like that. He was part of the regime that led to huge asset bubble in house prices, ridiculous prices. You ask anyone under 35, do a straw poll, how many of them can actually afford a house? Hardly any of them can, because this guy and his cronies presided over a culture where they let house prices go out of control. They didn't seek to protect them. They were used as there was a huge buy-to-let investment expansion, people buying houses just to make money out of tenants and ripping them off. This guy did nothing to stoke the house prices, and now they haven't collapsed in the way that they have done in America, but they're not far from that. It is going to happen. It's a little bit more complicated, but this asshole here, Alan Milburn, he is totally guilty, and he talks about people wanting to work hard and earn a living, all that kind of stuff. You know, this idiot and his government presided over a huge, stupid expansion of the public sector. And there are a great many people in the UK, I forget what the figure is, something like 1 in 4 or 1 in 3 people of working age, who basically receive their income from the state. They either sit on their ass, bone idle, and get it in the form of benefits, or they get it by working in the public sector, where they are overpaid compared to everyone else who works for regular companies in the private sector. So this asshole talking about a quick buck culture to an independent trader, a guy who's doing no different from walking you or anyone else walking down the bookies and betting on somebody to lose. It's no different. All an independent trader does is basically it's the same thing as taking a bet. It's not a quick buck culture at all. Rastani is a guy who he doesn't appear to own his own house. He's just trying to do what every other person who's not on benefits, who is not reliant on the public sector, who is not some leftist muppet. He's just doing what everyone else who struggles and struggles to get on in life wants to do. They want to try and make money out of this shit situation that we're in. So this asshole that we're looking at right now, whose face I just want to slap, this asshole is part of the problem. Don't forget that.
That you want and you actually do represent a view. And I tell you what, that's the problem. He represents a view of people who have a lot of power over. They don't want to be in the quick buck culture you want. And you actually do represent a view. And I tell you what, that's the problem. He represents a view of people who have a lot of power over you and a lot of power over your futures. He says he doesn't want a solution to this Euro crisis.
That is not true.
You said it. I saw your interview. You said, I'm not concerned about a solution.
See, there we go again. Now this guy's lying again. First of all, he's having a go at Rastani for saying he represents a view. So what is that, guilt by association? I've got no idea why he's pointing the finger at Rastani. This guy is just totally full of shit. And what was the other thing he said? Hang on a sec.
But Goldman Sachs run the world, not governments. Okay. To me, it's a great...
That's the other thing. He said that he wasn't wishing for a solution to the Euro project. This is the other thing. Labour politicians, but even politicians of today, but especially the previous government, they are obsessed with the Euro project, the European project, which a lot of liberal people, a lot of youngsters who are in college right now, who are graduating now, they've been sold this myth that giving up your sovereignty for one nation that is called Europe is a good thing. A lot of people have been sold this myth, and it's not. And Europe is crumbling all around us, and Rastani knows that the euro is toast. It's finished. It's absolutely gone. The euro is just going down and down and down. It's tanking, and it's going to go below 130 by the end of the year, and it's going to go even lower in the Q1 next year. It's finished. It doesn't work. You can't have all these economies working together. Look at what it's doing to a country like Greece, and even the Germans are suffering. German taxpayers, because they're going to have to pay more and more money. This is ridiculous. The last government, this Labour government, this asshole was in. This Alan, I forget his surname because I think I got it wrong before. Normally I remember, but right now I'm not very happy. You know, his government are responsible for all this kind of stuff. They're part and parcel of the problem. And yet, you know, he's trying to have a pop at Rastani for saying that the euro is finished, as if that's like blasphemy or something. I'm sorry, but the euro is finished. It is completely toast. It was a stupid pet project of politicians from the beginning, and to wish it to end as quickly and as painlessly as possible is no bad thing. Let's get back to it.
Opportunity.
Right, Alan, with all respect.
Look at this asshole on his high horse, thinking he's saying the right thing. And unfortunately, Rastani just, he lacks the words really to be able to think on the spot and explain in clearer terms. So I think Rastani would be better off just sticking to writing on his blog and things like that. Because when he's caught in a situation like this, people are he's having to engage in a game of politics and really have a really quick and good response, and he can't do that. The words are in him somewhere, you can sense it, but he can't come up with the goods.
About Goldman Sachs. Governments don't rule the world. Goldman Sachs rules the world.
But what do you mean by that? Somebody in from Goldman Sachs just flown in on their private helicopter?
The fact is, folks, look, if you're thinking that your government's out there, hey, Mr. Cameron, Mr. Obama out there is in control, guess what? They're nothing more than slaves to the capitalist gangbang. That sounds kind of a leftist thing to say, but guess what? That is true.
Can I ask you, Alan, did you ever go to a capitalist gangbang while you were in...
Unfortunately not. No. Give me the address. I'll pop around the world.
When I saw you on the telly, I was quite impressed. I thought, maybe he speaks a bit of truth here. I thought, I bet he's worth a few quid. Where does he live? The Cayman Islands, Monte Carlo, and then, to my disappointment, you live in Bexley Heath in a semi-detached house. So, I mean, with respect, you can't be that flipping clever, or you wouldn't be living in Bexley Heath. Nothing wrong with it.
Well, did Rastani ever say that he was clever? No, he didn't. He's an independent trader. That just means he's like me or you or anyone else. He never claimed to be a rich city boy or anything like that. He is just like anybody else. And now they're attacking him for it? Bullshit.
Private helicopter or something.
I don't know how many of you have been to Bexley Heath, but it's a fantastic area.
Okay. A lot of people thought you were a hoax. Were you?
I was not a hoax. The thing about me is sometimes when I speak, it comes out wrong, and it's my fault the way I express myself. And that's why it came out in some of the newspapers that the way you read it.
Okay. Well, let's finish by hearing what some of the main players in the current Eurozone crisis are saying on the subject. Rest assured, they're all 100% focused on the problem. Jose Manuel Barros.
Well, that's it. Thanks for watching. And you can see that these people are complete tools, and in a way, unfortunately, it's symptomatic of the general public who don't really have a clue how the financial markets work. So listen to Rastani. Educate yourself. There's no excuse. The internet has 1 trillion pages. So educate yourself. Learn about how financial markets work, and protect yourself and do something about it. Don't just think. Don't be lazy, and don't ask Rastani for advice, or don't ask one person for advice. Don't be damn ignorant about the world situation. Learn about it. There's no excuse for ignorance. If you're ignorant, you'll suffer. It's as simple as that. If you educate yourself, then you have a good chance of protecting yourself, and even, as Rastani says, even making money out of it, because there are ways to make money out of a falling market. So anyway, thanks for watching, and please like and